Hello, we are going to be doing a water test sample on silica today. We're going to be using a test kit from Taylor Technologies. The nice thing about Taylor Technologies are they color code their tests. So with this one happens to be white, and a white vial as well as nicely marked reagents and powders. This test is going to be one that you'll need a stopwatch in addition. There's going to be parts where you want to let it react for 5 minutes, let it react for 1 minute, and that's what we're going to use it for today. This piece you will need as well, which you see on the table, and it is to do a color comparison. Since we are not using a colorimeter today to do that analytically. So to start out with our test, we're going to look at our card, and there's a few different ranges you can choose from in this test. 5 to 50 ppm, 25 to 250 ppm, and 50 to 500 ppm. Knowing that I'm here in Eden Prairie, I know that I'm going to be within that 5 to 50 range, so I'm going to start the test there. Rinse and fill your vial up to 25 milliliters of water. So I'm going to fill, rinse, and then add to the 25 milliliters. At 25 milliliters. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take 1 milliliter of reagent 1, silica reagent number 1. So on this little pipette, there are markings for 1 milliliter and 0.5 milliliters. We are going to use the 1 milliliter, which is filled to the top, and just squirt that into the sample. Swirl that around to get good reaction and good mix. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add silica reagent number 2. We're also going to add 1 milliliter of that using the pipette. And again, we're going to swirl to mix. This is one of those steps where you need to set 5 minutes. Start my timer, and I'll return in 5 minutes. All right, we're back. We're at our 5-minute mark. The next step is to essentially stop this reaction from happening by adding silica reagent number 3. We're going to add 1 milliliter of that to the test cell here. And we're going to swirl it to mix it. Again, try not to spill. It is very full. All right, the next step in this is we're going to add our number 4 reagent, silica reagent. I have my 2-gram scoop here, and I just need 1 level amount of this indicator for this test. So I'm going to add that into the vial here. And as you may notice, it turned from a slight yellow hue to one that's like an aqua green. I'm going to swirl to mix this. Make sure I get that dissolved in solution here. And with that, we're going to use our color comparator. So we're going to take out this 5 milliliter reading glass. What you'll note is there's a frosted side, and that's the side we want to face to the front, to where we're going to read this from. We're going to remove this black cap, and on here, it's going to be very hard to see, but there's a 5 milliliter line on the sides which corresponds with the frosted front. So we're going to add our sample. I got a little bit extra, so I'm going to pour some back here. There we go, right at 5. What we're going to want to do is to make sure we get an accurate reading as we're looking at color and the differentiation. We're going to just make sure we wipe that clean and dry, so there's no water bubbles interfering. Place my cap back on, and then add it to this. The reason I put my cap back on is because what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to look up at a light source as we try to read and compare the colors based on the samples inside. So based on this, the lowest reading is 5 ppm. The color on here might be a little hard to see, but as I'm looking up at the light, I would say that this sample is less than 5 ppm of silica. I'm going to then record my value is less than 5 ppm of silica. And with that, that concludes the test.